He never believed a place could hold on to people, that walls could trap fear, the way lungs trap breath, or that something forgotten could wait in the dark for the next person who walked through its doors. But that was before the winter of 2022, before I learned that some buildings don't stay empty, and some shadows aren't created by the light, but by whatever is standing behind it. This isn't a legend. It isn't a campfire tale. It's something that happened to me in a town I never meant to visit, and a hotel I will never return to. I was traveling for work, repairing electrical systems in old municipal buildings. They sent me to a tiny, forgotten town outside Flagstaff, Arizona, a place time had abandoned. Old signs, boarded shops, streetlights that flickered even when the power was fine. Nights so silent you could hear your heartbeat echo. My hotel was a brick building from the 1940s. 3 floors, no elevator, just narrow hallways, peeling wallpaper, and a smell like old paper and cold dust. The woman at the front desk looked like she hadn't slept in days. She pushed the key toward me and said, "Second floor. If you hear anything strange, just ignore it." She didn't say it like advice. She said it like a warning. The first night was quiet, cold, still, nothing unusual. But the second night changed everything. It was 2:41 a.m. when I woke to footsteps moving slowly outside my door. Soft, bare, steady. Someone pacing, deciding whether to knock. The footsteps stopped right in front of my door. Then, a long, exhausted breath right on the other side. I waited for the knock, but instead, a whisper. A man's voice, too muffled to understand, like he was talking through clenched teeth. I looked through the peephole. Empty hallway, but the whispering got louder and lower, coming from the bottom of the door. I knelt, put my ear against the crack, and heard it clearly. Let me back in. Not let me in, not open the door. No, no. Let me back in, as if he thought he had already been inside. I grabbed the room phone with shaking hands and called the front desk. Before they answered, the lights flickered once, twice, then everything died. Total darkness, silence thicker than the dark. I turned on my phone's flashlight and opened the door. The hall was empty, but on the carpet, wet footprints, bare feet, leading from the far end straight to my door, and stopping there. And for a second, I felt something brush past my leg, cold, weightless, like a hand made of air trying to find its way back inside. The third night was worse. I woke at 3:09 a.m. to freezing cold. My breath fogged the air. Then my phone vibrated. Front desk. Are you okay in there? I hadn't called them. We got a noise complaint. Someone heard shouting from your room. I hadn't made a sound. Then another message. Sir, are you alone? Before I could answer, 3 taps on the window. Slow, deliberate, too precise to be the wind. My room was on the 2nd floor. No balcony, no ledge. I turned toward the window, and in the reflection, I saw something behind me. A shape, pale, bent, standing in the bathroom doorway. I spun around. Nothing. But the bathroom light was suddenly on. I hadn't touched it. The door was slightly open. Inside, someone was breathing. Slow, steady, patient, like they had been waiting for hours. I raised my phone's flashlight and pushed the door open. Instantly, every light in the room went out again. Blackness swallowed everything. Then, from the shower, a whisper. You left me outside. I stumbled backward, tripping over the dresser. The lights snapped on. The bathroom was empty, dry, silent. But on the mirror, a wet handprint, dragged downward, as if someone had pressed their face against the glass and slid slowly to the floor. And for a moment, I smelled something foul, like wet earth and decay, like something had crawled out of the ground and followed me into that room. The smell faded, but the cold clung to my skin like fingers. And somewhere inside that silence, I swear I heard it breathing with me, matching my inhale, my exhale, as if waiting for me to look back. I grabbed my things and ran to the front desk. The woman looked at me like she already knew why I was there. You were in room 212, weren't you? I nodded. She sighed. He keeps coming back to that room. She told me a man died there in 1994, locked himself in the bathroom. Security tried to break in while he screamed, "Don't let them in! Don't let them in!" When they finally got inside, he was dead. I whispered, "Why does he knock? Why does he whisper?" She said, "He thinks someone locked him out. He doesn't understand he's dead." And the worst part is, I don't think he followed me from that hotel. I think he followed anyone who ever opened the door to listen. I left that hotel and never went back. But sometimes when the house is quiet and I'm half asleep, I hear it again. 3 slow knocks on the door, the window, the bathroom. Always the same voice. Let me back in. And I still wonder, what would have happened if I had opened that door? If you want more true horror stories like this, stories that happened to real people, subscribe to Shadowpulse. Because the scariest moments aren't in legends, but in the nights you thought you were safe.